Well, let's talk about strategy. Leading brand, your baby, Beyond Hello. It's really taken a lot of step forward, a lot of more awareness, I would say, in the last, say, 3-6 months, maybe even a little bit longer. You talked about Colin Hanks. This is Tom Hanks' son that obviously is going to have some of his merchandise available at the store. So where did the name come from? And I guess what's the feedback that you're receiving at a lot of the dispensaries that people are attending across multiple states that they like about the company, say, versus other competitors in the space?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So I like that question because it's so fun. So we got like really Beyond Hello, we got through an acquisition. So right. Then when my team came in, my creative team in, we had a moment where we're saying, should we change the name or should we keep it? And then there's, of course, when the new creative guys come in, most of the time they say, oh, I want to do my own thing and all that. But so we're very research driven, so then the first thing we do, so where I come from is like really research this. It's not about my personal opinion or something. You have to look at your customers, you research this, you test the names, you test the values of what the name should represent. Okay. So and that came out really, really interestingly because obviously it's a brand born in Pennsylvania, and the Beyond the Hello part really comes from this medical place where you go into a dispensary, you have a pharmacist there, he can consult you, he goes the extra mile to consult you, and then you hand it over afterwards to the hipster bartender. So we were able to create this kind of hybrid brand in a medical market, right? You have the hip and cool looking dispensary, but you have as well the guys in the white coats who are very well chosen. It's like this real pharmacists you were employing, and they give you that consultant. So that's the Beyond Hello thing. So now the challenge comes, Chad, to bring this to a recreational market, right? And what that means. And so Beyond Hello was always built to, you can change the hello to anything. So there could be anything. It could be Beyond Goodbye. When it's in markets where you go, where we know like there's more now express pickup and delivery and curbside is the future. You go to like more an express model, and the name is very interchangeable. And that will.
So this is what we'll see then as you branch this out more and more as time.
Exactly. So we can make this anything. We liked it but that doesn't mean, we do a lot of acquisitions. When we acquire others, we're respectful to their brands, and we research them as well. And if they in this environment would test better than our own names, then we have no problem to keep as well other names in our retail chain. So it's all down to research and what the consumer loves, Do
you have different strategies with different states? Like, is there certain states that are stricter than others that you have to go in with a different approach?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the first big thing is like medical or recreational, and then you have like still the just gone recreational, where you still have a big medical market, right? So you have both of them. And some of our licenses have like, in Illinois, for example, you have like one store has a medical and a recreational license, still have a medical line. You have to respect those guys and have to make sure they're getting the right treatment, the right service, because they're really like patients, right? You call them. And then you have the recreational stores. So you have to cater both, and you have to be very respectful to that. And this will be going on for a long time. It's not like the medical is not just over when you go recreational in the state. And this is something where we have the hello still there, the Beyond Hello. And we're celebrating that, and we're making sure that our patients are really treated the right way, and not just, okay, here's like just business and let the recreational guys go first and all that. So we have dedicated lines. That is in Illinois with curbside only for medical, for example. So there's these things we do in those markets to make that transition a real good experience. But there's other markets where in California where it's really like it's very competitive, right? It's like you gotta go brutal, like you're competing with the other dispensaries, and it's all like brands and who is more SKUs and all that stuff. So you got to really push it, and then it's more like a Beyond Goodbye.
Yes.
In California.
Yeah.
So fast and good and fast and as much selection and good prices, right? So you don't want to be the store where somebody goes in and looks at all your products and it's a great experience, and then they go make a photo of you and they buy it on Amazon or like on the other corner in the express checkout, or get it delivered, which is a big
exactly. Well, I look at one of your locations that really grabbed my attention when I spoke to Jim last time was in Virginia, one of your dispensaries, because isn't it within a mile radius of like, is it an Amazon or an Apple?
Yeah. No,
So-
Virginia, that's a great, thanks for mentioning that, because so Virginia for us is like, imagine, so we've done a lot of, so when Jim started, he had to somehow got into the business. We acquired like lots of, not only like dispensaries, but as well like big consultants. So the expertise, the management team was built, you know, with really strong people. So people know about dispensary, how to build them. People know about cultivation. People know about extraction, manufacturing. So we have learned a lot in the other markets with our acquisitions. But in Virginia, the facility we've created is like really the first one Jushi created. That's the perfect storm. This is like, if you go there, there's state-of-the-art grow inside, double stacked. You can eat from the floor. It's like
I'm on my way.
Exactly. So this is really like the best. This is the first and best thing which was built in this, and it's all with our learnings from the other markets, right? So it's our first real own Jushi facility and retail. Of course, strategically very well chosen where it is, because it's in that HSA2 sector where we have 6 licenses. We will have 6 stores. We have a store in the grow already, like, which is amazing. And then the locations are obviously like where Amazon has chosen as well, their headquarters. So this is our crown jewel kind of, right? So strategically as well, it's not only like another state. We always call it the sleeping giant, but it's more than the sleeping giant. It's like the manifest of what we have done for the years and what we've learned is all put into this location.
Well, I'm really starting to see now as I talk to more and more people within the company. Jim has indicated like his background, you know, hedge fund manager in New York City, the best of the best, but he's brought in the right growers, right cultivation team, right branding, as you said, letting people do their work. And that's not an easy task when you're scaling up, is finding the right people. And when I look at that, what do you think, you know, in addition to what you've already outlined, and I don't want to like talk bad about the competition or anything like that, but what do you think this industry has lacked as far as vision when it comes to branding, and what needs to change?
I think so. It's only what I observe, right? So I got thrown into the business, and of course you come in from the real world, and then you in the bubble. Now I'm in the bubble. I have to escape the bubble a lot to be not like completely like brainwashed that this only the cannabis industry exists. But when I came in, I saw, well, they really saw it even in the Colorado market. The brands are really packaging. You know, they always talk about packaging, and that has a reason, because they, from a journey, these people came into the cannabis industry, and it was kind of a weird thing to get in. Nobody could get in, and then they got the licenses, or they got given the licenses, and they had to make some product. And the product somebody was a little bit more like artsy. Others were not. Others were very medical. So there was not really like there's no brands really yet. If you're strict, right? Everybody's trying to do brands, but there's no brands, there's no stories. In the stores as well, the people don't tell the stories. You know, like a brand is like, okay, here's a humble.
When I go to your site and I see the name Jushi and I start to understand what it's all about, it's just like that in itself right there. Oh, that's what that means.
Exactly. You need this. If you don't have the story, you got to invent it. You know, like, and if you don't have the sauce, you go to Humboldt, and this weed is grown in some secret valley where in the 70s they were dancing with the Native Americans, and that energy went into the weed. And you know, you have to invent something, and this goes, and then people have to tell it in the stores. But that doesn't happen yet. I mean, it starts a little bit, but this big advertising hasn't arrived yet. But and it cannot, because you cannot actually do those things. But that's where you have to get creative and have these ideas, which makes it to weave in some other stuff, and that's complicated. And this is my expertise, right? This I come from advertising, because the advertising had really like problems with traditional, and they needed to find new ways. So my thing, which I was always when I was in Saatchi, my company in there, I was just doing like finding new ways of advertising product, connecting. Or creating relevant exposure. That's so sophisticated. But I think in cannabis, you only can do that relevant exposure, because you cannot just say, here, this is good, buy this. This is WUSH is better than the other. So you cannot do it anyway. So you have to find super super interesting story, super interesting visually. You have to make it visually pleasing, and then create this myth, cult, and legends around those brands. And the legends are there right here. There's more. There's great legends here, like from the 70s, the 50s, and all that. So there's a lot of stuff here.
Yeah.
And of course, all the medical part of it.